faithfully delivering value, interpreting global literature. Hi, this is Sally's Book Club. Today we're exploring the book Hear the Wind Sing. When mentioning Haruki Murakami, you might immediately think of his complicated relationship with the Nobel Prize in Literature. Indeed, since 2009, Murakami has been considered a top Nobel contender for 8 consecutive years, yet always ended up as runner-up. Nevertheless, his influence in contemporary Japanese and world literature remains formidable. Works like Norwegian Wood and Kafka on the Shore consistently dominate international bestseller lists. Since the 1990s, Chinese translations of these novels sparked a Murakami craze in China. This popularity continues today. Murakami officially entered the literary scene in 1979 at age 30. For writers who believe in early fame, this age seemed somewhat late. Yet fortune favored him. His debut novel, Hear the Wind Sing, won the Gunzo New Writers Prize. How prestigious is this award? In Japan's award-rich literary world, it's considered the stepping stone to the prestigious Akutagawa Prize. The market response was phenomenal. Half-cover sales exceeded 150,000 copies, revitalizing Japan's traditional novel scene. This success solidified Murakami's determination to become a full-time writer. Yet this pivotal work was written in a bar's back kitchen. And before literature, Murakami and his wife ran a jazz bar. So how did he begin writing? The transformation happened quite unexpectedly. On a sunny spring afternoon in 1978, Murakami watched baseball at Jingu Stadium while drinking beer. When his favorite team won, something clicked. As the crowd cheered, the idea to write struck him like a baseball. Without proper writing tools, he rushed to buy pen and paper, starting immediately. Every night after closing his bar, Murakami would sit alone at the kitchen table until completing Hear the Wind Sing, marking his literary beginning. To understand Murakami and why modern youth adore him, this book is essential reading. So what makes this novel so captivating? Let's start with the story itself. A concise 40,000-word narrative. True to its title's breezy imagery, it tells a light, youthful story, like passing wind. Set between August 8th to 26, 1970, 21-year-old protagonist returns from Tokyo to Kobe for summer vacation. The protagonist and friend Rat kill time drinking in bars, occasionally chatting with the bartender. He shares a fleeting romance with a girl missing her left pinky finger. This storyline could feel cliché if told conventionally. Murakami employs first-person narration through fragmented memories, creating open-ended interpretation. The story opens with vivid imagery. That summer, Rat and I drank enough beer to fill a 25-meter pool. Our peanut shells could carpet the bar floor. Otherwise, we'd never survive this boring summer. This reveals the protagonist's rootless existence. Though having studies or jobs, these feel like side activities. Their days revolve around smoking, drinking, jazz, and chasing girls, American-influenced pastimes masking existential drift. The relationships in the novel radiate profound alienation. Familial, friendly, romantic. First examining family portrayal. Parental relationships remain virtually absent. The entire book contains only 3 fleeting references to parents. Only once mentioned his parents taking him to doctors before age 14, while Rat openly despises his father. He describes his father as a much older man, while the pinky-less girl only reveals distant family relations under persistent questioning. These characters exemplify emotionally distant family relationships throughout the book. Examining friendships. The protagonist and Rat bonded through drunken drag races, maintaining seemingly intimate camaraderie. Yet, when Rat faced emotional crisis, he repeatedly shut the protagonist out. Though noticing Rat's distress, the protagonist respected his silence without pressing further. This measured distance paradoxically sustained their lifelong friendship. As stated early, Rat and I remained each other's only friend. Now to Murakami's most extensively explored theme, love. Before the Pinkyless Girl, the protagonist had three youthful relationships. First love, high school sweethearts who parted ways after graduation. Second, a homeless hippie girl he sheltered who disappeared without trace. Third, a French major from university library who hanged herself mysteriously. All relationships maintained emotional distance despite physical intimacy. This pattern continues with the Pinkyless Girl. She consciously maintains detachment even during intimate moments. Example, lying naked with drunken girl all night without physical contact. She prefers accepting her lies over understanding her true self. This story portrays fragile, familial, friendly, and romantic bonds, all easily shattered. Such narrative embodies distinct modern characteristics. Modern lifestyles profoundly impact traditional human relationships. Murakami demonstrates deep insight into this social reality. Through the protagonist, lying and silence are twin sins plaguing human society. We constantly lie and choose silence. Indeed, every character carries unspeakable pain and secrets. Neither family nor friends achieve true understanding. So, how should we navigate collapsing traditional relationships? Murakami's solution: maintain careful distance in relationships. Superficial coldness masks underlying tenderness and care. This modern paradox creates the novel's subtle tension. Such tension resonates in the title Hear the Wind Sing. Many wonder about the title's origin. Murakami himself explained. It references Truman Capote's story, Shut a Final Door. That story depicts urban isolation and failed connections. A protagonist from loveless family constantly hurts loved ones. The ending, he buried face in pillow, covering ears, trying to think of wind. Dramatic parallels with Murakami's work are evident. This perfect title made me ecstatic, Murakami admitted, though my intent was recreating Capote's bitterness. Soon after, Murakami wrote Pinball 1973 and A Wild Sheep Chase. Continuing Rat's story, these form the trilogy of youth. Subsequent masterpieces like Norwegian Wood, Kafka on the Shore, and 1Q84 all maintain this youthful thematic core. It's fair to say, Hear the Wind Sing laid the foundation for Murakami's unique literary universe of youth. While not his most refined work technically, it initiated a new linguistic style distinct from traditional Japanese literature. Murakami's debut pioneered a crisp, minimalist language style unprecedented in Japanese fiction. His prose features concise phrasing and staccato rhythms that create sharp immediacy. How meticulous was Murakami about language? He described it as scrubbing linguistic impurities until words stand naked, then arranging them precisely. This minimalist approach shines through character dialogues. Take the protagonist's first conversation with Rat. Drunken after crashing their car, they exchange terse remarks. Lucky bastards, eh? Not a scratch. Unreal. Car's totaled. Screw the car. Luck's priceless. Rich boy? Something like that. Using unattributed colloquial exchanges creates cinematic immediacy. Contrasted with Kawabata or Mishina's works, Murakami's style stands instantly recognizable. Though written in Japanese, it carries minimal traditional linguistic flavor. Absent are conventional honorifics and meditative pauses typical of Japanese novels. The stylistic breakthrough emerged through experimentation, not premeditation. Dissatisfied with his initial draft's conventional style, Murakami scrapped everything. Rewriting sections in English first, then translating back, proved revolutionary. This accidental technique birthed his signature voice. Murakami's second linguistic hallmark, masterful metaphors blending humor and wisdom. The novel's opening line: no perfect essays exist, just as no absolute despair exists. Comparing flawless writing with utter despair seems paradoxical, yet profoundly insightful. One tangible, perfect text, the other abstract, psychological state. Both represent extreme, near impossible states of existence, yet they share logical connection. Creating perfection often requires descending into creative despair. This paradoxical metaphor reveals Murakami's artistic struggles with brilliant contrast. Another example: during boredom, I'd stare at a painting for hours. The pattern resembled two green monkeys passing deflated tennis balls. Murakami's metaphors excel in visual immediacy. How to materialize abstract boredom. Protagonist's hours-long stare gets amplified through surreal imagery. Emerald primates, already absurd, exchanging flat tennis balls, heightened nonsense. Even deflated, the monkeys persist their pointless game. The ultimate metaphor for persevering through existential ennui. The protagonist's restless boredom becomes palpable through these vivid, absurd metaphors. These unconventional analogies find strangeness in mundane language for surprising effects. Like intellectual dad jokes, they spark knowing smiles and reflection. Beyond linguistic style, what makes this coming-of-age story resonate? First, it captures post-war Japanese youth's collective experience. Murakami grew up during Japan's rapid post-war economic reconstruction. Economic boom brought radical lifestyle changes and material indulgence. Like contemporaries, young Murakami immersed in jazz bars, cinema, and romantic escapades. The novel's bar settings and jazz elements mirror this cultural reality. These period details ground the fiction in historical authenticity. Political upheavals also shaped this generation. The 1970s setting coincides with Zen-Kyoto movement's collapse and economic stabilization. Post-activism youth faced ideological vacuum and Mizumu disorientation. Protagonist and Rat represent post-protest generations' dual aspects. One hedonistic, one introspective, two sides of same generational coin. This duality perfectly encapsulates their era's spiritual crisis. Secondly, Murakami's characters retain youthful nonconformity regardless of age. Murakami reflected in The End of Youth about feeling his youth conclude at 30. A restaurant encounter with a doppelganger of his former lover triggered this realization. His sincere remark about her resemblance was dismissed as cliché pickup line. Men always say that, severing nostalgic memories. This occurred around writing Hear the Wind Sing at age 30. Experiencing youth's passing deepened Murakami's appreciation for its transient value. In his works, youth transcends age, its reckless authenticity brimming with vitality. Characters retain childlike spontaneity, like the pinky-less girl complaining about her twin. Same face, same IQ, same bra size, it's maddening, she muttered, fidgeting with her soda bottle. Rat embodies post-war privilege paradox. Wealthy heir despising affluence. Rich folks can't even scratch their own ass without tools, he sneered. His war profiteer father funded Rat's self-destructive escapades. Drunken car crashes, abandoning pregnant lovers, bar hopping, existential void. Odd yet authentic, this is Murakami's raw portrayal of youth. Beneath the breezy narrative flows profound existential contemplation. The novel's lightness conceals weighty meditations on life and death. This contemplation isn't arbitrary, but a crucial thread weaving through the entire narrative. Within the first chapter's few pages, the protagonist references 5 deaths. Writer Hartfield, 2 uncles, his grandmother, and President Kennedy. Telling Rat, we all end up dead anyway. He even envies the dead compared to life's exhausting struggles. Remembering his third girlfriend's suicide. She preserved eternal youth through death, while we survivors keep aging day by day. Their pessimistic worldview becomes existential fuel, painful yet propelling their life journey. Near the end, everything passes, nobody can capture it, that's how we live. Yep, continuing to live despite life's harsh truths, nurturing quiet tenderness with an existential void. This is Murakami's essence of youth. All right, hear the wind sing. That concludes our interpretation. Find show notes below. Until next time with another great book.